I take immense pleasure in welcoming our distinguished guests, faculty members, students, and Vice Chancellor Ma'am, and all the dignitaries. As we gather here for the plenary session of the Sustainable Tourism Practices, Strategies for Reducing Environmental Impacts and Promoting Eco-Friendly Tourism. This is on the third day of the ITSA Amity Regional Conference for Asia 2025. Now, I would like to facilitate our guest with a planter. So, may I invite Honorable DC Ma'am? Ma'am, can I have Shania Ma'am as well? The picture. But we had it. It's for them. Yes. Thank you. You also. Thank you. May I invite Mr. Naveen Rizvi? One more. Should I be the partner of this conference? Hello, ma'am. Hello. Thank you, ma'am. May I invite Mrs. Ratna Chadha? Thank you for all the help and thoughts. One more. Should I? One more. Come. Yeah, come. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I will now request Professor Dr. Fidnani, Dean Faculty of Hospitality and Tourism, Director AIITT, to deliver his welcome address.
Sheena, thank you. What a day. When we started the inaugural program session, the house was full of outstanding personalities. And when we are on our verge of closing the conference, one before the last session, we again have outstanding personalities. I again repeat, the cost of repetition, I wish I was born in this age. And I was at Amity University pursuing any program. I would love to have been in this hall, where we have dynamic speakers. It is very unfortunate that we received regret from two of our outstanding speakers. One regret I received in the morning at 8 o'clock yesterday from Mr. Prandasan, head Fly Dubai. Second regret we received at around 2:30 in the afternoon from Mr. Ajay Bakaya, chairman of Sarovar Group of Hotels. Why I am mentioning this, there is a reason for that. And the reason is that what we planned, it is often said, man proposes, God disposes. It happened with us. We thought we proposed that we will have 5 personalities from different segments of our industry. Per se, Mr. Ajay Bakaya from hospitality, Mr. Prandasan from civil aviation, Fly Dubai. We have Mr. Vikas Khanduri. I think the moment he starts speaking, you will get to know when I said outstanding, outstanding, outstanding. He represents the holiday tour segment, though he's a multidisciplinary, multi-vertical personality. If today we talk about any DMC in India, success story of DMCs, somebody asked me to write a case book on DMCs. I think I'll start my first book, my first chapter, my first page will start from Mr. Vikas. Sir, I mean it. I call him Vikas, sir. Even his number is saved in my phone like Vikas. Then we have Mr. Naveen Rizvi. Mr. Naveen Rizvi is not only just professional RPCO, official PCO, but he represents the MICE segment in India. He is a very, very strong candidate when it comes to bidding for any international event, including G20, including ICC. You name any event, Winter Olympics, you name any event, and he bid for it and he got it. You know why I'm mentioning all this? For the benefit of students who are present here. You will be listening to great ideas from them. Hold your breath. Then of course we have the most respected Ratna ma'am. I call her mother of cruises in India.
That's right.
That's my way of saying that, ma'am. Sorry, pardon me if I am wrong. In India, whatever we see today, though the cruise market is very, very small, but whatever is there is the brainchild, she is the creator of that niche in India. She knows how to bring out people to taste the waters through cruises. I think when we proposed this panel, our intent was very clear, our intent was very good, but somehow Mr. Pran Dasan, when he informed me yesterday morning, he said there is a business commitment which has come up from his corporate office and he works for Fly Dubai. So he had to fly to Dubai. He said, Dr. Sadnani, can I join online? I said, your presence makes a difference. Virtually, it may not be that impactful. But then, yesterday afternoon, late afternoon at 2:30 or so, Mr. Ajay Bakaya sent me an email stating that one of his family members who was suffering from cancer, he is no longer. So the family has lost him. So he said, my apologies, I regret. Otherwise, I would have loved to come. So that's the composition of our panel today. My colleague, Dr. Devika, will be the moderator for the session. I think she's here. Devika is here. She will be the moderator of the session. Students can ask questions because when there's a panel like Vikas sir, Dr. Naveen Rizvi, I wish he becomes professor of practice soon. And because he's a good teacher actually. So Naveen Rizvi and then Ratna ma'am. You know, when you have this kind of panel, you can ask and you should ask questions. But still, for the benefit of all those who are present here, my colleague Dr. Devika, I think, will be asking some questions. And these questions and the answers may give you some more questions. So please keep your notepad open, keep your pen ready, and please jot down questions. With these words, I welcome all the panelists and my heartfelt gratitude for your kind presence. Thank you. Devika, over to you.
And now it gives me great pleasure to have our distinguished speakers here today presenting their views. I'll give you a little bit of the background. we have Naveen Rizvi, possessing over 25 years of rich experience in the industry. He is a member of SIDE, Society of Incentive Travel and Excellence, since 2009 and current Vice President of SIDE India Chapter. Former governing board member of Indian Convention Promotion Bureau. Former board member of the Asia Pacific Customer Advisory Board of Starwood Hotels and Resorts, now which is called Marriott. He has many more. He's on the many more board of members, and his key events executed recently include the ministerial meetings of G20 and SEO, including G20 Energy Transition Ministers Meeting, G20 Environment and Climate Sustainable Ministers Meeting, G20 Foreign Ministers Meeting, G20 Development Ministers Meeting, and many more. And the next speaker we have is Mr. Vikas Kanduri sir, has more than 35 years of experience in the travel and hospitality industry and has served some of the most admired national and international travel brands of India. He has experience in formalizing, strategizing, and implementing company policies and mastered creating channel partners while in the service, setting up the GSA and PSA set networks and the core areas of incentive travel with some of the India's largest corporate houses. His core strength lies in his in-depth knowledge of the travel industry and the agent network. And he's also a visiting faculty at some of the premier tourism universities of India and enjoys sharing latest trends, opportunities, and news with the students and teachers. He's also as advisory in a number of network associations, Network of Minds Agents of India, which is called NEMA. And he's also an advisory board member of Amity University. He's member of ASSOCHAM, TAFI, and TITAI, the ex-president of Center of Education, Growth and Research, and many more. Next speaker we have is Ms. Ratna Chadha, chairperson and founder for Taiwan Marketing. She's also an India representative for Royal Caribbean Cruises Limited, pioneer of cruise travel in India. The chairperson and founder of Taiwan, Mrs. Ratna Chadha, has been at the helm of introducing various global travel products and pioneered the concept of cruise vacations in India over the last 3 decades. As an entrepreneur who was told as established industry veteran, with 47 years in the industry, starting her career as a management trainee with Welcome Group in 1978. Mrs. Chadha has harnessed her innate business growth abilities to change the way India vacations. She was a member of Cruise Tourism India Task Force, member of CII Committee, and chairperson of India Cruise Lines Association, INCLA. Now, for today, we have a session moderator, Dr. Devika Grover, from Assistant Professor from Amity Institute of Travel and Tourism. She will be the session moderator.
Thank you, Tina ma'am. So I would like to welcome everyone. I know it's a post-lunch session, but I'm sure we have some interesting insights from industry experts. Welcome, sir. So I'm going to give you the theme again. It's sustainable tourism practices, strategies for reducing environmental impacts and promoting eco-friendly tourism. And my first question is to my panelist. I'll start with you, Vikas. So my first question is, DMCs can influence the way tourism is structured. How do you ensure sustainability is at the core of your travel packages?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. We see some international dignitaries here. Welcome to India, sir. I hope you like India and you're having a good time here. Amity is a very big institution. I'm very sure that you'll be very comfortable here. I've been associated with Amity for almost, I think, 2 decades. I'm in the advisory council of 2 of the departments in the tourism. And I have seen how the tourism, the education in tourism by Amity has grown. And I hope we get a chance to meet up with you all also. If the topic of tourism is there in your portfolio. Before I go in there, when I was coming in here, I thought of just going through Amity on sustainability. So I'm very proud to say that I'm associated with Amity. Amity has 17 core areas, initiatives which Amity has taken on sustainability. And it also goes to all the students here, because tomorrow when you will go to a bigger organizations and probably your house teaches you uh, how to go about in the uh, bigger areas. So Amity itself has a water management, a carbon emission, solar energy. You also have waste management. So the Amity is also very working towards sustainability a lot, and I congratulate you for that. Now you said about DMCs. The question is that when we say that DMC is a destination management company, DMC means I am taking my group or somebody from India to some other country and somebody else will manage us there. So I've had some beautiful experiences in life, and I think time has come that somebody in India duplicates that. So when we say about DMC and the travel, so let me bring in some countries who are doing great job with sustainability. So let's pick up Bhutan. Bhutan has a zero plastic policy. You cannot take plastic. You get into the country, they check your luggage. If your luggage has plastic, they'll ask you to offload that. So India would say that you have to have a transparent packet with your toiletries into it in a plastic thing, but Bhutan will say, please take it off. And here's a paper packet you can take, and sustainability is there. Likewise, if you see another country which does almost similar thing is Maldives. We get into Maldives, they'll check your luggage. Anything which is not sustainable, they'll remove that from there. They'll request you to remove that and they'll give you a plastic bag for that. So DMCs and country go together. I think a DMC can work for me if I ask my event or my customer to be in a place which looks after sustainability. So what is sustainability? If I do a group, I can say that don't give us plastic bottles. Serve to our groups on the glass bottles. I can work with them on that, and whatever the cost we can look at. We can look at the hotel which works on the green process. A hotel which says we are a green hotel. The hotel which has a policy of water management. A hotel which has some initiatives for, or they have taken some extra efforts towards sustainability. And there are hotels, and I think in India we have a firm hotel chain, and they are a very good example of eco-friendly system. Whereas in the world there are many. There are many hotels which do that. And what I have noticed with the DMCs, if it's a responsible DMC, they would do some good things for you. Uh, but from India, there is a possibility when we take a movement into an international destination, we can say that we will give you a carry bag, but it will be a jute. So it's a sustainable bag, something which which is eco-friendly thing. And I think such initiatives can be many and more. As we go along in the afternoon, I'll get an opportunity to talk. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Definitely, sir, that change has also started in India. As you said, it is being done in many countries. States like Himachal Pradesh, they've already practicing no plastic. So that wave, I think, will move on to the country as well. So my next question is for Ms. Ratna Chadda. Ma'am, cruise tourism is often criticized for its environmental impact it leaves. How is the industry innovating to address sustainability concerns?
So the first thing is that I don't know why criticism comes in, because I think people are just ignorant of what happens in an industry like ours. Any industry, not just ours.
Right.
If you are getting your livelihood depends on that industry, why would you do things to destroy it? Is my first question. So these guys who are criticizing should be asked this question. And let me tell you that the cruise industry is not a new advent, maybe new in India, but it's been there in the international markets for a while now, from
True.
1960 onwards. And in fact, India had a bit of not cruise tourism for vacations, but we had ships that were trading way back. I mean, we're talking about pre-partition days now.
Right, ma'am.
So, and the waters is something, the ocean is something that needs to be protected because that is giving us a livelihood. So there is no question at all of spoiling the environment. In fact, now today technology has brought us to a state where we have sustainable initiatives, whether it's water cycling, whether it's waste cycling, whether it's power consumption, whether it's the propellers that we use within the ships, which now are changing into new age. You don't have any more of those old propellers which used to, take had RPMs and all of that, because that was spoiling. It was ruining the ocean. And now with the new ports that are coming up, including in our own country, we are asking for power backup so that you don't have generation of carbon footprints there. It is our country that is actually just at the advent of new infra, and I think they will, and we know, and we are very, very conscious of the fact that whatever comes into our country needs to be sustainable. So using plastic, one-off plastic, and all of that is a complete no-no. Just like Vikas was mentioning about Bhutan. Bhutan is a small country; they can implement all of this. Look at our country. I mean, to implement it, we need a change in attitude. We need our people to change the way we look at things. I've just come from home last night, and I cannot tell you what I saw there. It was not sustainable, but it was amazing. And I think as Indians, when we travel abroad, we are conscious of this. We don't spoil other people's country. Why are we doing it here? Why do we not take that into account that this is our country, this is where we live, and it's not just for the visitors, it's more for ourselves. I mean, the Prime Minister initiated various things for cleaning up. Yeah. So why can't we do that in all walks of life? And even in terms of, forget about, I'm going a little away from cruise tourism because I've been in the industry for some 47 years. I mean, probably double or triple the age of most people in this room. But you just got to change our attitude. Okay, India is not a country. For me, it's a mindset. If we change our mindset and start behaving like this is our home, the minute you take that attitude, believe you me, your over tourism into your hill stations, in areas, your religious tourism, especially, I have to tell women and others to stop spitting. We are bathing in that same water which is supposed to be vibrant and giving us, the energy. And what are you doing?
So, ma'am, it has to be a way of life.
So, why? I mean, as far as my industry is concerned, it's a very small part of what we are talking about here. I just want to paint a larger picture. So, and the fact is that if this is your home and this is giving you a livelihood and this is where you belong, then you should be privileged, not proud, privileged that you are a part of this country.
Thank you, ma'am, for bringing in that energy. So my next question is to Mr. Naveen Rizvi. He's the executive director for ICE, and his company is handling a lot of high-profile delegations and events. So, sir, my question is, how do you ensure minimal environmental impact while managing logistics for high-profile delegations like G20, which you handle?
Now, since yesterday from the inauguration, I heard that this is basically the continuation of something what we used like a G20 summit. And if you are aware, G20 was not only in Delhi, it was across the country. So we organized more than 200 conferences across the country. Not an easy task, first of all, because infrastructure-wise, every state, every city is different. It's not like Delhi or Mumbai. But if I start from the cause, the way the entire mandate was from the top, that the entire event has to be environment friendly. It means we cannot use flex, we cannot use anything which can harm the environment. So whatever we did, whatever branding we did, wherever, in some places, even the resources were not there. For example, doing an event in Leh Ladakh, doing an event in northeastern part of the country like Sikkim, lot of places where we have to take things from other places. Those places we have to execute and ensure that environment is not being damaged at all, because flex is very harmful. Certain states have already banned, like Karnataka, for example, in Bangalore you can't do it.
Yes.
And you will be happy to learn that even it is being banned in New Delhi as well. Now, any branding in Delhi, you cannot do it on flex. So we cannot use flex at all. Another mandate was that whatever gifts we are giving to our delegates and dignitaries, they should be eco-friendly again. It means again nothing of plastic. Even the concerns about leather as well. In the meeting, for what we gave is about something made up of jute, a cloth, and also to promote the local city or a state where we are doing an event. It means what we did, we procured things from the local artisans. That is another way of promoting the environment friendly aspect. Because what we are doing, we are reducing the carbon footprints. We are encouraging local artisans to provide things for the delegations coming from overseas. It also gives the local taste. Plus, it also makes them also feel proud of the part of such a big gathering. We were not using anywhere anything of plastic. The entire water system was based on the glass bottles. Nowhere plastics were used at any point of time. We were using eco-friendly paper which were recycled in nature. Even the badges were something which can be reused. So the mandate is from the top to make India G20 story in such a way that we can show the world that we care for the environment. Our Prime Minister has already committed. There's a target of carbon emission. Although we have long way to go, but we took the step and we show the world that whether it's a small city, medium city, big city, we can execute something with that perfection. I think, as Mr. Tuck said, it is the mindset which is very, very important. And a lot of people are youngsters over here. I think it's important for you to understand, because you are the future leaders. Where we are sitting today, tomorrow you will be sitting here. So if you have that kind of a mindset, I am sure we can take things forward a lot.
Right. Thank you, sir. Sustainability, in fact, has become a crucial focus again across the domains, as sir mentioned, the various focal points. Thank you, sir, for sharing. So my next question is again to Mr. Vikas Panduri, who's representing Viva Voyages today. And sir, we wanted to understand that how can responsible tourism practices be implemented in popular destinations to prevent over-tourism and environmental degradation?
So,
Can I repeat the question?
yeah.
Yes. So, how can responsible tourism practices be implemented in popular destinations to prevent over-tourism and environmental degradation?
Okay. Since I have an exposure of travel, and I travel almost every month to some country, or I've traveled more than, I think, 60, 70 countries for sure. So I can talk about, let's say, overcrowding, a situation of overcrowding and how it can be managed and what should be done so that it is controlled, managed. So let's say Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower in France, when first of all, when somebody says France, After Paris, you don't know many cities. The country finishes for many mindsets as Paris. So it's like Paris in France. But in Paris, if you see, the very first thing comes in Eiffel Tower. So it, and anything happens in the tourism of France, they would post Eiffel Tower picture as a selling point. So I have been to Eiffel Tower maybe 10 times in last maybe a decade. I have noticed that when people travel, they have a natural tendency to go first. Especially if they have kids, they want kids to be well prevented, taken care of, like that. So if the information is good and information is given in advance for anything where we can see a crowd will be going, then there is a possibility that a management can be very good. So just as for Paris to go to Eiffel Tower, they have a system where approximately 1,000 people can stand in a queue. And they tell you after every point, it will take you 40 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, like that. So one can make a plan in their mind, you know what, you want to go to the loo or eat something, you have to eat medicine, you have to drink water, you can plan. Likewise, if you see Vatican City, Vatican has thousands of people every day. But Vatican doesn't have overcrowding. It is somehow it has become a system in which people travel. So there are people in Vatican, there are people in thousands in Vatican City, but there is no such push and pull. They've created a system of 15, 20 companies who have online tickets. You buy your ticket, you go there, you manage. Likewise, if let's say Golden Buddha, the reclining Buddha in Thailand. Now, reclining Buddha in Thailand, any Buddhist would like to go there, would like to bow in front of a Buddha, and but because they know that there will be thousands of people, the crowd management is very, very good. So, having said that, if you talk about India, I think put together entire Paris, Vatican, and Bangkok put together is one place in India where we would have maybe a temple tourism. So if you say one of the temples is Vaishno Devi, it has every day, I think 1.3 million people going at any given day. We are a populated country, so do what you want to do, but you can't have that kind of a management. We have in 3 hours time 7 trains stopping. Imagine 7 trains in 3 hours time, which is 100% full. So you've got 20,000 people asking for accommodation in 3 hours time. So obviously we are overcrowded. And it will take some time. And also today in the morning, it was a very funny thing, somebody is who has come from France to India, is staying in India for some time, is a French national. He says, India is very mystical, very friendly, here, if in my country, if a train gets late by 10 minutes, there is a big talk. And in India, it's 12 hours late and nobody says anything. So, we have got used to of this crowd management, overcrowd management, and something like Mahakumbh, where we have, like 400 million people in one place on a single day. So we have a different things to look at. Yet, I think we have some beautiful things in India. If you look at, let's say, on the sustainability point, like for our foreign delegates who are there, for you, it'll be like a good thing to hear that the Cochin airport, which has one of the largest, second largest tourism in our country, after North, is completely solar enabled. The airport is solar enabled. So in sustainability, we are very good in there. But in the crowd management, we cannot be. And we have, any hill station, if we have a holiday, weekend holiday. So we are okay if there is a traffic jam of 5 hours, and we know that it will be there. So there is an overcrowding situation. Every hill station gets very packed, overcrowded, and I don't think so we have answer to that where India is concerned. Thank you.
Where we can look at the global success stories, but yes, we have our own set of challenges, our own emotions connected. So yes, we have to learn to deal with that. But technology is also playing a very vital role. So yes, thank you, sir. So now moving on, my next question is for Miss Ratna Chadda. Ma'am, what role do travelers themselves play in ensuring that cruise tourism becomes more sustainable? And how can cruise companies encourage responsible behavior? Something which you highlighted. So if you can give us some key points, what the travelers themselves can keep in mind while they're on the cruise.
Yeah, so it's basically creating the awareness and educating the traveler. And we give advanced information of what should, the things that they can carry, what are the sustainable things. For example, we don't, like I said, allow plastic bottles and such like things. So we, tell if it's an incentive or a MICE company, we tell them that why don't we give them articles like, flask like the one I'm carrying, so that they are not running around with plastic bottles and all of that.
Right.
Also on consumption, food consumption, and what happens there, and how to deal with it. We have sometimes, and I've actually been there myself, where Indians have this mentality that food is going to run out. We are at a wedding and the food is going to run out. Let's crowd around the buffet and dig our hands into the spoons, eat with the same hand, touch the spoon with the same hand, and carry on. And life is good. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work for that way even in our homes. It should not. And so we are very conscious, and we keep telling them that please help yourself. Sit down. If you're eating with your hands, which is our natural thing in India, please make sure that those hands are not back on that table. Wash your hands and come. We are very particular. We've got sanitize, especially on a cruise ship, which is a contained environment. And when COVID hit, we were the first service provider to shut because of what happened in Japan. And it was actually, it was something which was unfortunate because neither were we the cause, nor the effect, and nor the indicator of what happened in Japan. But it was hyped up to such an extent by the media that I think all cruise lines then developed a safety security procedure which is in place now. We've got sanitizers all over, we've got hand washing placards all over the ship. Don't allow people to enter the dining halls unless you sanitize your hands because it's contagious and we are conscious of that because of the contained environment. So, we just keep educating people. For our Indians, I do much more because we have a different mindset. Nothing wrong with it, but I think we need to change that mindset, and I keep saying that again. Do that at home. You don't take the same hand and take the same. You're eating with your hands, but you don't put the same thing in the dishes and things like that. So we've got to just educate people that this is not a wedding gathering, that you're hanging around the buffet and that kind of thing. There are other passengers on board. Things like your linen and your towels, you don't have to throw it every day. You don't do it at home.
Yes.
So why are you doing it there?
You save a lot. You save a lot of energy.
Water,
Yes.
Water, even your consumption of drinking water, you've got glasses that fill up to the top and it's wasted. People can't drink that whole glass of water. I keep telling hotels here that please start using shorter glasses so that whatever goes into the glass consumed. Even if it's that much water, you don't have the luxury to waste water anymore. And these kinds of things. And of course, conserving the environment. You can't smoke and, for example, be smoking and throwing your stuffs over the banister into the water, into the ocean, food stuff, plastic. So all of this, and we've got cameras all over, and if anything is seen that is untoward, immediately that person is taken to task and is told that, please do make sure that there's a fine for doing this. And that litter is picked up from where it was dropped. we have a security system where before people board, so the captain speaks to the passengers, and all of this information is repeatedly given to your internal circuit television and all of that, so that we get aware.
Wonderful.
This is not something that we do. But like I said, you're traveling abroad, you're more conscious than you are in your own country. The issue is here, not outside. And that's
Right.
what we need to take into account.
Right. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing those insights. My next question is for Mr. Naveen Rizvi. So, like, while you work for your MICE events, I would like to know, how do you work with hotels and venues to ensure sustainable event planning? Not as a DMC, but when it comes to hotels and venues.
See, there are certain hotels and venues which have already initiated this process, and they are basically called clean venues.
Right.
There are convention centers who understands the importance of sustainability, and the way they are transforming themselves is mind-blowing. I can give you an example in Noida itself. What I like about ITML, they have a very nice solar system. Now, if you go to their roof, what you will find, the solar panels are there. They generate the electricity for the convention center through that solar panel and try to minimize the damage towards the environment, because electricity saved is electricity generated kind of a thing. Now, as an event company, when we have to work with such venues, what we do first thing, whenever client asks us, there are, like, I work very closely with certain ministries, where the renewable energy ministry, I work very closely for their events. So in 2018, we did the Reinvest Summit at India Expo Mart. And one of the reasons of choosing that venue, because of their able to understand the sustainability aspect, because of the solar panels they have been using for the electricity consumption at the venue. So sometimes when we talk to the venue and when they have these kinds of features, so certain clients would like to have their events on those kind of venues and hotels. Plus, there are factors in the hotels as far as concerned, where we also talk about how to handle an event in the most economical plus more sustainable way. Means the food portion. That is something which is very critical when we discuss with our clients and with the hotels. That it should not be waste. The food should not waste. Because again, you are impacting the environment by throwing here and there. And then I'm saying just now about the glass side with the water. Because that is the preservation is very, very important. You must have noticed a lot of time in hotel when you are staying. It has been there is a slip or a trick kind of a thing where they say, if you don't want to use this or you want to use this, don't throw the towel here, keep the towel here. The idea is to conserve the water as well.
Right.
The sustainability is a very wide topic. It not only just talk about plastic, because it's the time people talk about plastic.
Agree. We have to move beyond that.
It's beyond that. It's about how you save electricity, how you can use renewable energy, because renewable energy is very, very important. Like for example, green hydrogen. There's a big talk about replacement of petrol and diesel with green hydrogen. This is the future of the fuel. It will be much more, and you can say the advantages than even EV. Because in EV, what you are doing, you are still generating electricity to charge those vehicles. But when if green hydrogen will be part of any transport system, it is much cheaper, it's more eco-friendly. So these kind of activities needs to be promoted. So we also participate and also work with certain societies and associations, those who promote these kinds of activities.
Wonderful.
And along with the venue, it's our duty also as an event manager to educate them, to guide them, that how they can benefit about this renewable energy factors. Because please understand it, any venue, the biggest cost after manpower is HLT cost, heat, light, and power. So if any venue, any hotel is able to manage that, so they are not only saving the money, but also playing a very important role in the climate change.
So to add on, can I ask you what percentage of your clients actually ask you for hotels that follow sustainable practices?
See, when we do incentive business, especially from overseas, sometimes interpret this is one of the. In Indian corporates, still we are getting educated on this aspect.
Is cost a factor there?
See, cost is just sometimes in sustainable values or sustainable things are little expensive. But there are certain people who are ready to spend that much of money, ready to go little extra mile. As I said, G20 was the best example. Things were a little costlier than the normal because flex is the most cheapest way.
Right. But it adds to the landfill in that case.
Yes, because see, you have to see the bigger cost, what needs to be done and what needs to be achieved. See, we have to leave the planet for the next generation in such a way that they can live there for years.
Rightly said. Yes. Thank you, sir. So my next question is for Mr. Vikas Khanduri, sir. So we've been talking about gifts that are eco-friendly, involving local artisans. Now, talking from the DMC perspective, what strategies can DMCs use to promote local culture while ensuring sustainability?
See, the topic is, it's a very big topic where we can look at transforming travel, and that is ecotourism. Now, I think we've been talking about ecotourism for a very long time, but I really don't know if we practice ecotourism. Having said that, in some remote areas of India and in the niche properties of places like Rajasthan, particularly Kerala, and in the Himalayas, in many places, this ecotourism has become part of a sustainable thing. Many hotels or many venues have adopted a full village, and that village or that area has been spruced up for a tourist or a traveler to go and experience. There are some properties in India, very famous of them. They have created a very eco environment. So you go into there, you don't even get EVs, you only get cycles, but you get a good cycle track. They have a trekking, you can do miles and miles of walking with them. They have a garden, big garden patch, and they encourage you to go there and see what would you eat from there. So you go to that garden and check the vegetable you want to pick up. You pick up that vegetable, and then they will cook for you. They also have, every room has a solar management. The corridor lights are with sensors. So when you walk, the light will switch on. Otherwise, light will not switch on. So in a local level, lots have happened. I would put this because in the larger perspective, the government has not been able to achieve it. But it is easy to achieve. See, India is a land of entrepreneurs. It's a pure land of entrepreneurs. We are entrepreneurs. If all our foreigner friends, when you walk on the road, you will see so many kiosks. There's a general entrepreneur on the road. After every 20 minutes, you meet him. He'll be selling something, he'll have a vendor shop. In many places, you don't even need license for that. Especially in the food and eateries, miles together you can get something. So, what has happened is, I think the base has to be an educational institute. And the first brush has to be with this student fraternity which is sitting here. So if Amity is able to tell this student fraternity about ecotourism, so I think the impact can come back in a very large way. So why I said about that entrepreneur is because within this room there will be at least 20 students who come from some remote area, some far off place. They've come in here today. And for this student, if he takes one lead about ecotourism, there are many who wants to experience that. In the main cities of India where money is residing. We are a political capital here. We have a financial capital, Mumbai. We have a cultural capital, which is Chennai. So like this, we have business capital, which is Gujarat. There are so many people from the main cities who would like to experience the eco environment. So how is offsetting taking place? One is when you go to Mumbai and stay in a hotel, and one is you stay 20 kilometers away from Mumbai in a small place where you have a complete eco environment. So I think the role is both ways. As a travel agent, the role is on my head to say, I promote. And I think as an educationist, you have a responsibility to tell this youth that they need to indulge into something called sustainability. And there cannot be anything better than ecotourism. You can charge double the money. There would be somebody who would like to show their kids how to plow a field. A very small thing, how to pluck a green chili. That could be an event. It can be a life-changing event. I had gone there, I plucked 2 tomatoes and 1 green chili. And I had gone there and planted by myself 5 types of plants. So I think there is an opportunity here we are talking about. Thank you.
You gave a lot of apt examples, and as rightly said that it has to start from both the ends. So I'm sure these students are going to have great takeaways today from your deliberations. So any questions from the audience? We would like to invite questions. So while I go on to the next speaker, please keep your questions ready. We'll be opening the floor for questions. So my next question is for Ms. Ratna Chadda, ma'am. Ma'am, again coming back to the local communities, how can cruise operators collaborate with local communities at port destinations to promote responsible tourism and minimize negative impacts?
I think your students are getting restless. You better come on to question because they are not listening. I think we seem to be talking to ourselves.
Can I please request everyone?
It's not their fault, they probably had a long day. I'm not saying they should listen in, but I think let's get on to questions that most of us will get answered.
Yes.
If there are questions. If there are questions.
If there are questions, yeah, because there's no point in us just talking to ourselves.
So can I please request the audience, if they have any questions for our experts, they'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. Maybe not a question, but a comment or a request of your opinion, because I totally agree with what you said, and it's really very motivating to hear what you're doing as country or as operators, because we all live in the same planet and we share the same planet, and we all need to respect it. If I don't respect it, it's your problem as well, and if you don't respect it, it's my problem, But in many cases, all over the globe, because I go to conferences everywhere, I really do not like, and that's my approach, when I hear comments that we don't have over-tourism, we have a bad management of tourism. I agree and I disagree. I agree from the point of view that, yes, if we have good management practices like Tour Eiffel or I don't know, whatever, isn't it? We can manage the crowds. Yeah. And nowadays technologies can enable us to manage crowds better and more sophisticated, isn't it? I mean, we can put reservation systems in place, isn't it? And instead of 100 people, we can manage 1,000 people per minute, isn't it? It can be possible, isn't it? We can ask them to pay taxes to enter, isn't it? You name it. But is that the solution, really? I mean, I come from Greece, yeah? In many places in the beaches, now they charge different prices. If you want an umbrella in front of the sea, you pay double the price if you want an umbrella and a chair behind the sea. What was the result of that? You go to the sea and you are not able to see sand. You only see umbrellas and chairs and people lying on that. And I can find a system whereby I can manage 1 million of people to go to the beach and make maximum money of that. But is the purpose of the beach to serve the tourists? The locals cannot identify their place, the commoditization of their place. And it's sustainability is not only about managing flows and managing money. Do we build or do we have land for bringing tourists in, managing them efficiently, and that's it? Or we have temples, we have mountains for the locals as well. And what's the social, cultural sustainability of that? What's the purpose of doing that? I think managing over tourism is not just an issue of managing flows. We have to answer the question, why do we need to manage flows? And what do the locals or what the country wants, or what's the economic development purpose, or what's the tourism development model? I think these higher order questions haven't been answered. And when I hear perspectives that there is no over tourism, it's just a bad management, I think this approach dilutes the whole discussion from what is the purpose or the higher issue of what we are doing. I don't know if you see what I mean.
So, you have a very wide question. So I'll tell you about India. So we have a method to madness, and we are very good at that. Very, very good at that. So Amity University here must be having some 20,000 students. 40,000 students are here. If you look at method to madness of 40,000 students going out at 4 o'clock in the evening and coming back next day morning at 8 o'clock. It is bigger than a big stadium management. So India is a country which has method to madness on tourism, sustainability, and also its own ecosystem. So when we say, let's say, a temple tourism in India, we would have millions in a place and nobody fights. No ladies are coming back at that I have been harassed. No kid is saying that I've been suppressed. There are millions of people there, but there is no problem with the toilets, with the water. So that is our ecosystem. Having said that, if you look at in India, the highest number of cars are luxury cars sold in India. Any world big car manufacturer has a highest number of cars in India of their particular niche brand. So when there is a Lamborghini edition comes in, which will have only 10 cars in the world, I bet 3 will come to you. So we have a system of managing a luxury and super luxury. We have hotels which are more than, a night, which is $200,000 a night. And we have a hotel which is $5 a night. So I hope you will experience very beautiful India. It has almost everything for everyone. And it has a system which runs for everyone. So we don't mind at all honking. Because for us, honking means I am in hurry, please give me. Honking also means don't hit my car, I am in a very typical situation. But I have traveled in Switzerland with my friends, and somebody, or in USA or in Canada, if somebody honks behind you in London, it's a big abuse. But we don't mind that. We say it's a way of saying he could be in a hurry, I can come on the side. And that's an indicative thing. So there could be many people honking at the same time to say, rush, it's going to be green line in another 3 seconds. So everybody honks at the same time and everybody pushes themselves. I think the scale of people is something which is there. But same we Indians, when we go with Ratna and we take our cruise liner, which is a luxury cruise liner,
and it is going into Alaska, you would find we Indians will be highest spenders. Am I right? We'll be highest spenders. We are very, very well managed. We don't break lines. We are pretty cool. And at the places where we have overcrowded, 500,000 people travel into Switzerland. On every mountain of Switzerland, which is the top mountain, inside Mount Titlis, Mount Jungfrau, Mount Pilatus, 360-degree, Rigi, they have realized that they have an overflow of Indians coming in. So the entire signages is in Hindi language, and we manage that. We don't break queues there. I hope I've been able to give you an answer.
So I just add to that. I completely subscribe to what you said, where the locals, when they are affected in that particular city or in that particular destination, then it's not sustainable for me. Sorry, it doesn't work. So as far as the cruise lines are concerned, what we have done is that countries have now put a restriction. Smaller countries like Croatia, Greece, some countries in Norway, where there is limited capacity, they have now put restrictions on the number of cruise lines and the type of ships that can come into that destination, so that the locals are not hassled and there is sustainability as far as they are concerned, because they live there. Tourist comes and goes, he doesn't care. So that has come into place, and in India, what we have done is, as part of the CII, the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce, of which I am a part, we have done capacity control study, and most of the hill stations, for example, that get crowded during holiday seasons, or let's say the mountains where people are trekking and they are camping, we've come up with SOPs to say that this is the maximum load that a hill station of this nature can take at any particular point in time. After that, there is a cap. So people are then requested to stagger themselves. Not just the people, the tourists, but even the tour operators who are working on the ground say that you would be allowed in only at this point if you have X number of people. They haven't imposed taxes yet, but I think that maybe the next step, and I don't know whether that's the answer or not, that Bhutan has done, where they've imposed a very high tax level.
Well, I come from Greece. The Greek government has never taken any decision on limits on the number of cruise ships or passengers going out. My homeland is Santorini. It's one of the ones suffering from the cruise ships. We have been arguing as locals to limits. The government has never agreed to that. What the government agreed last year is to put a tax for every passenger landing in Santorini called environmental tax, which is going to go to the central government in Athens and not even to the local destination, with the claim that this environmental tax will be used by the central government for sustainability purposes in Greece, not even in the destination. So the interpretation of all the locals is that the government is using tourism as a revenue tax generating industry. So what's the sustainability of this sustainable measure? It's a big question mark for everyone's.
That little landing portion that we have in Greece, it's a nightmare when there are 5 ships. But I agree. And so therefore...
And that was my question, that when we're thinking about sustainability, the measures that we take, most of the time they think about how we manage this capacity issue, sometimes the environment. We totally ignore what are the subsequent side effects of what we are doing for the economy to society, culture, or whatever else. But the definition of sustainability is that you balance the three, or at least that you consider all of the three, if you see my point. It's in Croatia, where they have put them limits, they have created other problems. They have created a kind of discrimination. If you have the money, you come to see it. If you don't have the money, you don't come to see the destination. Well, whoever said that only this rich people are allowed to go and do places, to see places in particular instances, you know? So I think whatever action we take, we really need to try to think about this balance of the three things, and definitely the voice of the locals, because they are the first that they are really affected. Yeah, that's my point of view.
Excuse me, would you have a little time? Can I ask a very small question?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ma'am would also like to ask a question. So,
Okay, first, please carry on.
Hello.
sir, we will come to you first. Thank you.
Now, regarding sustainability development, we've been, I think, talking a lot about how to keep up the areas and cities clean, and we've been hearing so many other things. But I think, as far as the water plastic bottle is concerned, in olden days we never used that, right? So I was wondering what sort of a suggestions you all can come up. One is that I think Dr. Khandari has spoken about the glass, but I think there'll be another solutions if you have. Like, as far as I know, of course, I think anybody can adopt. In olden days, it's Nepalis and a lot of Indians. They use that brass bottle and brass containers as a water purification. And here I would like to present this. I've done my research. I poured water in a container, brass container, kept for about a month, and I don't see any worms coming up. But if you keep it in a plastic, it comes overnight or next day, it becomes very slippery, and then definitely pollution started coming. So I think what I've seen also, some hotels, they also serve the water in the brass containers. So I think, that's one of my suggestions. I thought we can bring this on the floor so everybody can adopt. But you can still have a try if the pollution is total. Now, one thing that I have come across is one time there was a missionary, small like micro-oven type Kangen water. Have you heard about it? I'm sure there's a machine that purifies. And how this has been manufactured by Japanese, and how stupid we've become. We're paying about 2 lakhs per that, equivalent to small micro oven. And what you see inside is just the grains of those copper and brass, which purifies, but it's nothing. And that water you drink, they say, oh, it's good for weight reduction, it's good for gastric. So many things like that. I think the easiest one is we can adopt that.
Right, ma'am.
Thank you.
Just a very short question. Hello, and congratulations. Lovely piece of learning it was for at least me, definitely me. I'm taking a sackful of everything what all three of you spoke. My simple question is, since I'm also from the tourism field and Rishiji, we know each other, of late, and I'm surrounded by a maze of national parks, starting from Bandhavgarh, Kanha, Panna, Sanjay Dubri, now which has come up, so on and so forth. Wildlife tourism and destination wedding have been pronounced a lot. Even the Honorable Prime Minister, when he went to Uttarakhand, he said that this can be an ideal place for wedding destination. And then we had a series of seminars in which even I attended a couple of them and I spoke on it. But my question is, should we have destination weddings in wildlife destination areas? What would be your opinion, sir?
In my personal opinion, we should avoid it.
Yeah, I'm asking for the personal opinion.
My personal opinion, we should avoid it because our weddings are very loud. A lot of music, a lot of entertainment. Sometimes they disturb the habitat in that particular region. And so I think we should respect their life also. And
Must. Must.
And we should understand that because we are not in kind of a wedding suite. It's just like a in a hall or in a church or a small place. Our destination weddings are a lot of entertainment, a lot of things, a lot of decoration.
Too much of DJ and too much of loud music and all that things.
And then everybody is not forced to not use flex and other things. So people don't use eco-friendly things even in wedding also. That's also a challenge. Because in the government events or in corporate events, you have to kind of a responsibility. You are sometimes not being imposed or you have the CSR as a part of it. But in wedding, I don't know how many people are really adopting this culture, or I would say,
Absolutely.
I think that we should avoid it. We should not have it where the wildlife centuries are.
Or probably we can evolve another word from this conference. That's sustainable marriage, sustainable weddings,
Yes, that should be.
something of that sort. And quiet weddings. Absolutely, Sanatan weddings. We would say Sanatan weddings. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
A very good evening to all the respective member on the dais. Myself, Dr. Praveen Srivastava, I'm Associate Professor in Department of Management from the Institute of Technology, Ranchi, Jharkhand. So we work in the academic fraternity and we are also taking care, we are also looking into how we can change the things and how we can find out what actually is lacking. So starting from the point which we were just discussing about the wedding, what we found is that our neighboring country have certain rules where the number of people who can attend the weddings is restricted. But we unfortunately do not have this rule. So what Madam was saying, that don't eat like that you eat in the wedding, you take the plate, where you fill everything because you don't want to take a second helping. So by following this, we can do it, we can try to manage the things. But second, what I found is that most of the rules are there, but they're on paper. To implement it is the second thing which we should take care of, but it is not. As Madam was saying, and I have personally experienced when I was in Singapore, in the garden by the bay, an Indian woman with a child, they were carrying a popcorn. And unfortunately, it fell. Both of them sat together, they took the popcorns, packed, and put it in the trash bin. But if in case we come back to India, I came back with my son, and as soon as we reached the airport, and he asked me, कि ये इतना गंदा क्यों है हमारे बाहर? Why can't we be like Singapore? But after 6 days or 7 days, this question was not there. So our eyes got accommodated to what we see in and around us. So after that, the question diminishes and it was not there. Third, we have done a research on sustainable practices, and it was published in a Q1 journal, where we found that the two things which is there, as we have discussed about the premium price, people do not want to go for the premium price. And second, what we have found, that unavailability of the green hotels. People are unable to find the green hotels in the country, in the different part. So they say that since it is not there, we are not going to go for it. So it is very easily, the other hotels are very easily available to us, so we can go for it. And lastly, as Madam was in Mahakumbh, I was also there. I'm born and brought up at Prayagraj, Madam. So every year we go to that Magh Mela. And this year also I was there from 23rd to 26th of Jan. What I found that only UP70, which is the vehicle number of Allahabad, were allowed to go inside. And it took me time to make people understand, the policemen understand, that I belong to this place. So though my vehicle has a different number, but let me go. But once I reached my home, since I was a local, I know the way out. I do not know which way you follow. I live close to the bank of Ganga, a place called Jusi. But I went to the bank of Yamuna because I know that the crowd will not be there. And from there we took the boat, and within 40 minutes I was in between at the Sangam place. So those people who were not aware, and even I was surprised to know that those who were there, they just want people to take a boat, either in Ganga or Yamuna, to go to the Sangam was a very difficult task, and they should move from that place. As sir has rightly pointed out about the numbers, he has said that people are gathering there in Kumbh. So that is the first thing which comes to their mind, that how to manage the crowd. And they do not think about the sustainability and other things. So thank you so much for enlightening everyone. And I would just like to thank from the bottom of my heart that you have given very valuable points which will be helpful for our students and all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So now we will close the session for the question answers. And just to conclude in 2 lines, that integration of sustainable practices, it has to be a collective responsibility. So we here sitting in the room, we have to be educated, we have to create that awareness, and we all as students, faculty, academicians, industry leaders can take a pledge to be a part of the system. So thank you everyone for participating. Thank you so much.
Now I would request Professor Dr. Champlin, Acting HOI, Amity School of Hospitality, Dr. Alka Maheshwari, to facilitate the guests, Mr. Vikas Khanduri, and may also invite Shri Pushpa ji to the stand. May I invite Mrs. Ratna Chadna, and may also invite Professor Sinaya. May I invite Mr. Naveen Rizvi and Professor Omar. Thank you all for joining in today's session. All the students, please keep seated.